What's up? It's time for more Sound Euphonium. This is season 3, episode 10. We are in some of the most interesting parts of the season right now. I don't know if this episode's gonna be like even more dramatic than last episode or less dramatic. It really could go either way. I've talked, in the last video, I sort of talked in depth in the discussion section about like what I think could happen, but also like why I don't know what's going to happen, why it is still such a mystery to me. And I'm super keen to get into this episode. So let's not waste too much time on the intro. I'll just do my usual spiel that you can like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you can. It would really help me out. I'm a small channel. I also have a Patreon account if you want the full-length reactions and early access exclusive videos, lots of other good stuff. And I have a Gent Watches One Piece channel. If you like One Piece, you should absolutely go over there and check that out. But without further ado, let's jump into this episode, season 3, episode 10 of Sound Euphonium. Okay, here's the question. This is good, this is good. Be brave, Kumiko. Okay. But I want more like concrete answers. That's kind of what I expected him to say. He's a cat. Yeah, you couldn't ask that, huh? Yep. Expressing arpeggios. Oh no. Yeah. Reina, Kumiko already handled it. This isn't the time to have this conversation. Oh. It's pretty bad right now. Oh, Taki's here. Everyone's in a bad way right now. Oh, that is such a tense scene. Reina is spiraling. Correct. And now you guys are yelling within earshot. Yeah. At least he's trying. Uh-oh, kanade. I hope you're here for good reasons and not bad ones. Okay, I think she just pulled kuroe back into it. Okay, they're gonna have another talk. That's easy to say. Yeah, honestly, this is the sort of thing that would make people not try at all. Maybe? Oh my god. Oh man. This is really at like an all-time low for them, I feel like. Like this feels like the sort of tiff that would have you stop talking to each other and never talk again. People have stopped friendships for arguments like this. Aww. Cool. You get 2 returning characters in one go. This is a nice place, it seems like. Wow, she picked up on that quick.
高坂さんと喧嘩した時当たってる？残念ながら。ただいま。
Yes.
もしかして大前ちゃん。何？アスカ
Oh, look at her.
ついに高
She
坂
looks
さん
so
と
mature.
今度紫に染めようと思ってるんだけど、どう思う？
Very pretty.
なんだ、もっと血は喧嘩っぽいものを着たしてたのに。辞退したがる転校生か。確かに難しいね。
Yeah, it's hard to
簡
untangle.
単でしょ？受け入れて大前ちゃんがソリ吹けばいいだけじゃん。
No,
他のパートは
that
ともかく、その子に
that
関して
isn't
はそれ
fair
で
on
万事解決。
on Mayu.
でもそれじゃあオーディションの意味ないじゃないですか。
Yeah, exactly.
北氏はそうやってきたのに私がそれを破るようなこと。はいはい、ご考説ありがとう。変わってないな大前ちゃん。
She's changed a lot.
偉そう。それって全部大前ちゃんがすっきりしたいからでしょ。
That is true. She does always want closure.
大前ちゃんとその転校生の優劣に大きな差はない。
Mm-hmm.
どちらかを選んで堂々としているほかない。
True. It's probably a very tough
タキさん
decision
も部
for
の空気
him.
には気づいていると思うよ。迷ってるところを見せたら終わりだとも思ってる。
Very
だから何
true.
も言わない。大前ちゃんのいいところは無責任に言いたいこと好き勝手に言っちゃうところでしょ。でもわがままを無責任に言われたから折れるしかない。
Oh, because you threw a
アスカ先
tantrum.
輩、いつものことでしょ。
Damn.
シャワー浴びてくる。
That's kind of true. She does let things bubble, and then
響いたんだよ。
at the biggest moment she like blows up about it. Not blows up, but you know, confronts it at the very last moment.
頑張ってね、大前さん。
So, who do you talk to? What do you say? Where do you go?
私の思ってること。
Okay. Do you talk to Reina?
合宿からいろいろあったけど、正直に言うと私、滝先生の選考に全部納得してるわけじゃない。その気持ちは滝先生も部員みんなも変わらず同じだって思ってる。
I like this run animation.
本番前にみんなに話してみます。
Mm-hmm.
また言葉にして。全部
Man, this shot is beautiful.
つける。
God, look at that drawing. Oh, for the first time, I agree. She's probably very nervous about this.
こら、すみません。大丈夫なの。
Is now when you're going to be talking to
私、
people?
ソリ頑張るね。久美子ちゃんがソリ吹くチャンス
Oh.
なくなっちゃうもんね。
はい、そこまで。
How is it? Excellent.
素晴らしい
Okay.
です。
That's good.
あと何分くらい？
まず自分たちの納得のいく演奏にしましょう。
Good, Taki. Well done.
あ
Now's the
の、少しだ
time.
けいいですか？
Now's the time.
もちろんです。
I'm getting jitters.
部長のお前です。
They know.
落ち着いて。ちゃんと。私昔から思ったことを言っちゃう癖があって。正直にそのまま
Okay. No filter.
一つの目標に向かって進める北内が大好きです。
Mm-hmm.
その北、そしてきっと滝先生も思ってる。
Mm-hmm.
なんでだよって今年はこのオーディション形式を提案しました。
Uh-huh.
それが間違っていたとは思いません。そのことで戸惑いを感じた人がいたことも事実です。
Mm-hmm.
部長としてこの場で謝らせてください。
I'm so proud of
す
her
みま
right
せんで
now.
した。
Oh, this is great.
今さら謝られてもそれでも私は北内で全国金を取りたい。でもここにいるメンバーと不満も
How can anyone be up
全部
like
吹き飛ばし
disappointed after seeing this
最高の演
speech?
奏をして全国に行きたいんです。こんなに練習しているのに上手くならないはずない。
Oh, voice
こんなに
acting.
真剣に向き合ってるのに私たちならできるはずだから自信を持って。
Mm-hmm.
今まで私が伝えたいことは私も全国行きたいぞ。
Oh, that's amazing.
絶対に行こう全国
I really believed that would turn the spirits around. I hope that's good for you, Mayu. I hope this silences that you're relieved. Aww. Kitauji Fighto. Yay. Oh, I'm a little baby. Ah, next time. Oh. Is this post-performance? Because they're not going to show us the performance, because they're going to show us the Nationals performance, I imagine.
そして次の曲が始まるのです
Okay. I mean, that's just brilliant. Good writing, because that's exactly what needed to happen. I didn't know what could be done. I didn't know what to do, but I feel like that is perfect, because I think I have been praising Kumiko this whole season. I've been saying, like, I feel like she's doing everything right, but is, being dealt shitty cards. But I do think some of the unrest among the group has kind of come from the fact that Kumiko is so diplomatic, and she's actually, been more and more diplomatic, where people feel like she's just sort of sucking it up for the team, and I think the people, like, the fun dynamic that's happening in this club, I think, is the idea that they're all, like, working really hard to try to get, to try to win and stuff. But I think they also are, like, nice people. Like, basically everyone in the band, I think, is, like, a very nice person, or in some way a good person, and cares about other people. And a lot of the times that they were bringing up concerns and stuff, the concerns were rooted in, I don't want this other person to feel upset, And I think a lot of the club members, in my read of the situation, they were sort of subconsciously protecting Kumiko. They were all, like, really upset because they felt like Kumiko was being victimized, and she was a huge victim in this and being taken down, and it was a really upsetting feeling for everyone, I think. And that brings the entire mood of everything down, when they feel like everyone loves Kumiko and she's so special to everyone, but at the same time she's sort of letting herself be walked all over in their estimation of things. So it is kind of true that, like, Kumiko holding her feelings back and being diplomatic and being caring of everyone's feelings, and not letting her own discontent show, or trying not to, that may have done a little more harm than good in this particular situation. Most of the time, that solves their problems, or that's a good thing, and that's just being a good president. But in this one situation, what people needed was to hear what you actually thought, and there's, like, no doubt that speech at the end was, like, her true feelings, and it was convincing. It was a beautiful speech. And it was the sort of thing that, like, everyone watching would be watching that and going, I get it now, Like, at the very least, even if I don't agree with this decision, I think everyone's on the same page of, like, this is what Kumiko and Reina and Taki and Shuichi and, like, the third years and the people who are really wanting to win, this is what they want. And so even if it's not going to properly work out, we should try it for them. Now that we can see how earnestly Kumiko wants this, how much she actually does want the audition system to be in place, how much she actually does want Mayu to play the soli, even though she herself wants to play it, like she wants it to be a fair judgment, and that's how she wants to win because of it, So it was a really great speech, because it's really nice when there's a speech in a series, like speeches that I feel like would actually genuinely work on people are really difficult to write. a lot of series will have, you know, the main character doing some speech to a group of people, and most of the time I feel like it works for the characters, but it also feels like that probably wouldn't solve the problem in real life because people are stubborn, or people, you know, like don't really take words like that on, or wouldn't take it all in, or whatever. But this is one speech in media where I feel like it genuinely would 100% work on this group of people, like without a doubt. I can't see that not working. It was just really beautifully done. Yeah, I mean, it was a really difficult situation, and like obviously I do feel like Reina was a lot to blame for the plummeting, or at least like it's almost like there was a small like there was a thread loose, and Kumiko, like if I'm to use an analogy, like it was a thread of something that got caught on Kumiko's pants, and she like walked a little too far. She doesn't wear pants, she wears a skirt. It got caught on her clothes and she like walked a little too far and like tore a little hole in their performance, you know, in their band. What Reina was doing is basically like was going like, I'll fix it, and grabbing at that strand and pulling at it and just making the hole much bigger, you know. So Reina was like exacerbating the damages, making it so much worse. It was a small hole, and it was now getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's easy to feel like, okay, well, she caused the problem, Reina should be the one to fix it, you know. Especially because a lot of the time in these sorts of shows, that's how it works. And like maybe in a future episode, Reina will like own up to it and apologize and work through it. I feel like that's got an alright chance to happen, but it also could not happen, and I think that's okay too, because I don't know if it's the point of what's happening right now. Of course, we want, like, because I think we as an audience, we like Reina, and we're disappointed in her. We want to be able to see her like learning from this mistake. But I do like that wasn't the solution here. The solution was actually for Kumiko to step up and to do something. Maybe Reina could have done something and that would have been a solution as well. But I think Kumiko knows Reina wasn't going to, you know. She is a very stubborn person, and so Kumiko did what she could. And it's interesting hearing Asuka talk about, like, well, you leave everything to the last second anyway, which is very true of her. And here it was like literally right before their performance is when she solved the problem. So she does leave everything to the last second, but it's not because she's like lazy. It's because she, when she solves the problem, it is because she communicates with the person with aggression and with desperation, right? That's basically always how Kumiko solves problems, is she will aggressively communicate with you to solve the problem. But she doesn't like doing that. It's not something she enjoys, and so she only uses it as an absolute last resort, and she just sort of instead is friendly and nice and hopes the problem will solve itself, or that her being nice can solve the problem. And unfortunately, a lot of the major problems can't be solved like that, which kind of sucks. But a lot of the smaller ones do get solved like that. So it's not crazy that she goes for that strategy a lot of the time, because it's an effective strategy. It's just for these big like season problems, you know, because we have to remember this is a TV show. Like this is a piece of media. So there being conflicts within the story is par for the course. It has to kind of happen. And also, like, the things we see on screen aren't everything that happens. So I'm sure there are a lot of little minor problems that are popping up that Kumiko's squashing, and that she's doing a good job at tempering constantly. But we don't show those on screen because it's a waste of time, you know. It's basically shoe leather, you know. And if you don't know shoe leather, I don't know if I'm using the term. I don't know if the term directly applies to this, because it's not quite the same thing, but shoe leather in a script is essentially something that is that doesn't like push the story forward or add to the characters or have any sort of purpose in a script. You call it shoe leather and you cut it out. So essentially in like, people were always like, why don't people ever say like hello or goodbye on the phone when you're watching a scene of characters on the phone? You know, they just like pick up the phone and they're like, I've got a problem with Jackson, you know, and then after they're done, they're like, okay, we'll set the meeting, and then they hang up, and it's like, you didn't say goodbye or anything. People were like, why are you doing that? It's because hellos and goodbyes are considered shoe leather. Like, we know they happen. It doesn't really add anything to the scene to have those in there. It actually just takes up runtime where you could be telling story and you could be pushing characters forward. So you cut all of those little things out. Obviously, if you did, like, if you were trying to make a hyper realistic TV show where you wanted it to feel super realistic and super real and like almost like you're watching a documentary, then you would probably keep those in, but then they're no longer shoe leather. I think at that point they serve the tone of the show, but most shows don't need that. Most shows don't need to be hyper realistic. But yeah, anyway, so I feel like, you know, sometimes Kumiko is squashing things behind the scenes and being a great president behind the scenes, but we already know she's a good president, so we don't need to see it. Was there anything else? I also just liked seeing what they talked about with, like, Taki has to, like, you and Mayu sound like you're similar skill level. If you weren't similar skill level, this wouldn't be an issue. Like, either you would be so much better and then it's like clearly a problem, and then, you know, and then Taki would probably overrule it, you know, he would probably change his mind. Or she would be so much better than you that no one could really deny that she earned the part, you know, so it wouldn't be like such an outward thing. But because you're so similar in skill level that it's come down to like subjectivity, basically then the bias has come in place. Like, if you were to have something, if you were to draw a circle and you were to draw down the center and say, okay, this side is red, this side is blue, and you did it exactly 50% down, and you say to half of the people, hey, if majority of this circle is actually red, we'll give you $1,000. And you say the same to the other side with blue. If majority of this circle is blue, we'll give you $1,000. And then you put everyone together and you go, hey, so which of these sides has more color on it? Both of those sides are genuinely going to be arguing that their side has more color on it, and a lot of them will actually think that their side does, but because they have, you know, their own biased point of view. That's not an actual scientific experiment that I'm quoting or anything. I made it up. It has no basis in anything except the analogy I'm making. So don't like go look up, oh, what's that? Oh, the red and blue circle experiment. I made it up on the spot. But I think you get the idea. But anyway, I think that's it. I think that's all I want to talk about. I'm wondering how Mayu feels, because they didn't fully show her after the speech. They showed her during the speech, and then they showed like her from the back after the speech, purposefully sort of like hiding her, and that it's a shot that could either double as relief, like she's like breathing out a sigh of relief, or it could be like her hiding her frustration, like she actually is the only one who didn't get through to. I don't know, because it was showing everyone else's face, so it could have been that it didn't get through to her and that it actually upset her more, maybe, or that she has some sort of unresolved tensions. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see in future episodes if it comes around to it. It's very possible that, like, even if they do go to nationals, that Kumiko never gets that solely, you know? I mean, we'd love for her to, but it's very possible she doesn't. Anyway, that's Euphonium Season 3, Episode 10. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to support the video if you can. Like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and go to my Patreon account if you want the full-length reaction, early access, and exclusive videos. I will see you next time. Goodbye.